Hi, I'm Rob Cosman. Welcome to my shop. One of the most calming and relaxing things to do in the shop is to use a sharp hand plane. But there's something that'll make it even better. I'm going to share that with you. Stay with us. I'm Rob Cosman, and welcome to my shop. We make it our job to help you take your woodworking to the next level. If you're new to our channel, be sure to subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and don't forget to turn on the notification on your mobile device so you'll know every time we release a new video. Good? All right, back to the bench. If you think about it, a hand plane is a pretty simple tool. You've got a base that holds a blade at a fixed angle and allows it to pull this onion skin off, in this case, a piece of black cherry. Well, there's very few adjustments, two primary ones. This one is your lateral adjustment that moves the blade side to side to get it parallel to the sole, so that when you take that shaving, you're taking the same amount from both all across its width. And the second one is down here. This is one we're going to talk about. This is the adjuster knob. So I turn that in a clockwise rotation. It will result in the blade sticking farther out and giving me a heavier shaving. If I got to remove a lot of wood, I don't want to do it 1,000 passes. I'd rather do it in 10. If I retract it and go the other way, it retracts the blade and allows me to take a much finer shaving. Well, therein lies the problem. The adjuster knob, especially if you have old tired hands or a bit of arthritis, because it's under the pressure of the lever cap holding all of this in place, can be very difficult to turn. And that's actually a fairly large diameter with some pretty heavy knurling on there. You can only imagine what it would have been like when they used to make them small diameter like that. Almost impossible. Some of them were actually at one point made out of something, I think it was called Bakelite or some form of a plastic. But that's the problem that we were stuck with. I've got a solution for you that I've had so much good feedback from people who hadn't been able to use their planes, now can. That's what I'm going to show you. You're going to love it. We don't normally do commercials on YouTube, but this has been such a game changer for so many people. It's worth risking making a commercial. Well, there you go. It's called the Adjustar, a 5-spoke wheel that allows for a lot of leverage so that when you're in a situation like trying to make that adjustment under the pressure of the lever cap, you're able to do it. In fact, it becomes so easy to do, you don't even think about it. Now, let me show you how it works, or how you get it on. You don't really need to take this stuff off, but I'm going to just to make it a little bit easier to see. Now, the tote or the rear handle usually has to come off in order to get that in place. So I'm going to remove the toe screw first, and you got to be really careful with these brass screws. You can wreck that slot quite easily. Make sure your screwdriver fits in there in such a way that it doesn't tear up the top of that slot. All right, now these are usually a reverse thread, so you would figure that you would turn it this way to retract it. You actually are going to turn the opposite way. You notice that this thing called the yoke is engaged to the adjuster knob. Yeah, we'll get that all the way off. We'll put the adjuster on. I'm going to pull my yoke back. Remember, normally you would think you would spin it this way to put it on, but you're going to do the opposite on this one. Get those threads properly lined up. And at some point, you've got to bring the yoke down so that they meet right where they need to. And you can spin that in place. Now, when it comes to putting the tote back on, I usually put the toe screw on first. I find if you put this one on, sometimes it pulls the handle back and it makes it difficult to line this screw up with that hole. Doesn't need to be tight right now, but just as long as it's started. Then get this one in. Go back in and snug that one up. Okay, now put my blade in. Make sure there's no debris on the face of the frog. This is the frog. Set that in place. Make sure that your yoke engages that little rectangular slot in your chip breaker. And then put your lever cap on. And this wants to be tight enough that it'll prevent this from moving during use, but loose enough that you're able to make adjustments with your lateral adjustment knob. Now I'm going to flip it over and wipe it clean. only wipe in one direction. With a light colored background, I can see the blade right here, so I'm going to use my lateral adjustment lever to line that up so that it appears to be parallel. Then I'll retract it so that it doesn't show at all. I always like to use a little bit of wax in the sole to make the planing easier. And then while planing, I'm going to start spinning the adjuster knob. Now that's a little bit heavy on the right side, so I'm going to make a slight adjustment. I'm going to pull that back just a hair. See if I can get a little more. See how thin of a shaving we can get. That one's pretty light. Like I said, it's become so easy to do, you don't even think about it. Well, there's another big advantage. If you have a bedrock style plane, and by that I mean one that allows you to open and close the throat without removing all of this, well, the old adjuster knob made it very difficult to access those 3 screws. The 2 outside ones hold the frog tight. The center one allows you to move the frog forward or back. With the Adjustar, you can get almost straight on, and makes it a heck of a lot easier to make that adjustment. And you just look down through your throat, you get the opening where you want it, snug up those 2 outside frog retaining screws, and you're ready to go. Now, we make these to fit your old Stanley and Lee Nielsen. And this one fits not only Wood River, but also Luban. So if you've missed being able to plane because of that thing, check out one of our Adjustars and make yourself get back to the bench and enjoy your hand planing. If you like my work and enjoy my style of teaching, click on any one of these videos and help take your woodworking to the next level. I've always said, better tools make the job so much easier. If you click on the link below, the chisel and plane icon, it'll take you to our site and introduce you to all the tools that we actually manufacture right here in our shop. It'll also give you information on our online and in-person workshops.